All right, Algebra 1, we're going to keep going with our factoring notes here in section 2.3. Now, 2.3 is going to be split up into two parts, part A and part B, and then 2A, we have two parts for this. So what you'll see this week are just the 2.3A. We'll do part 1, part 2, and then practice this because this is an extremely important topic going forward in Algebra 1 and in Algebra 2. So again, like I've been saying throughout this whole chapter, if there's anything throughout these notes that you are not sure of, please ask before we move on to the next set of notes, okay? So what we want to do is we want to look at our bell ringer here, find a combination of integers that has a product of 60, so they multiply to give us 60, and they have a sum, meaning they add to 19. Okay, so you can start thinking of I like making up tables, and you'll see in our problems here we'll make up tables. So product, they're going to multiply to give us 60, and then add to give us 19. So we just start running through some numbers that multiply to give us 60, like 6 times 10. Well, that's not going to add up to 19, right? That's going to add up to 16. I don't know, 3 times 20. 3 plus 20 is not going to give us 19. And we could just keep running through these until eventually we find out 15 times 4 gives us 60, and then 15 plus 4 would give us 19. Now, how this relates to what we're doing today, let me jump down to what I have written down here, is let's say, for example, we saw something like this before, x plus 15, x plus 4, where we multiplied that out and we ended up with something like this. Okay, x squared plus 4x plus 15x plus 60, right? Like, this is something that we've done before. So we would add or find the sum of these middle two, right? We find the sum of these middle two. And then where did the 60 come from? Well, that was a product of 15 and 4. That was what we got when we multiplied those. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to start with something that looks like this. Okay, x squared plus 19x plus 60. And we're going to find the numbers. Basically, we're going to split it apart. We're going to find the numbers that multiply to give us the last number and add to give us the middle number, just like we did here in the bell ringer. So we're going to split up that middle number into two numbers that will add to give us the middle number and multiply to give us the last number, right? Because 4 plus 15 is 19, but also 4 times 15 gives us 60. Okay, so we've done this process going from here to here. We've done that already. So now what we're doing is we're starting here and we're going back up into something that looks like this. Okay, so, and I told you this term FOIL is a term that some people use. This is basically just going backwards from that. So what we're going to focus on today is trinomials, meaning there's three terms, x squared plus bx plus c. We're going to focus on trinomials where this last term is positive. Okay, so what that means if the last term is positive is when we write our answers, they're either going to be x plus something, or it's going to be x minus something, okay? And we know that based off of this middle sign, whether they're both positive or both negative. But if we're multiplying two numbers and our answer is positive, that means our signs have to match, either both positive, because positive times positive is positive, or both negative. Negative times negative is positive. Okay? So let's jump into some examples here. And again, if you're not sure what's going on, rewind, watch it again, ask me, make sure that you're getting these questions answered before we move on. Now, in your worksheet, when you turn in your worksheet, what I'm showing you here is what you must have in order to get full credit. So we are looking for numbers that will multiply to give us 20 and add to give us 9. So what I do is I come off to the side and I make a table. And I want to say, all right, well, I'm going to take 20. I need numbers that will multiply to give me 20 and add to give me 9. So I'm just going to take and I want to find some numbers. I'm going to run through some factors of 20, like 2 times 10. Well, 2 times 10 gives me 20, but 2 plus 10 gives me 12, so that one doesn't work. 3 doesn't go in. 4, so we do 4 times 5 is 20. 4 plus 5 gives me 9. All right, so I found my two factors. This one works, okay? So that means 4 and 5 will be the factors that go in my parentheses. Okay? Now we look at, since this last number is positive, that means that your signs have to match. Since the middle number is positive, that means both of your numbers have to be positive. So positive 5 and positive 4. So our answer, we put our two sets of parentheses, just like we did for dots, the difference two squares. We know that 5 times 4 gave us 20, and 5 plus 4 gave us 9, and they're both positive. So our first term here, remember we're trying to get an x squared, so that comes from x times x. Okay, you could also have x plus 4, x plus 5. Okay, the order that you have them in does not matter. These are both correct. You don't need to have both down, but you know, you can have the 4 first or the 5 first. Doesn't make a difference. They are both correct. Okay, so on your worksheet, you need to have a table and your answer. If you don't have your table and the answer, you will not get full credit for these. Okay, your table is like you're showing your work. So make sure you have the table down, otherwise you will not get full credit for your homework, your worksheets. All right, let's keep going here. 32. I need some numbers that will multiply to give me 32 and add to give me 12. So run through. I know some of you will probably pick up on this pretty quickly, and some of you it may take a little bit longer. That's okay. So 2 times 16 gives us 32, but 2 plus 16 gives us 18. So that one does not work. So we go to 3. 3 doesn't go into 32, so how about 4? 4 times 8, right? If you know your factors. If not, you just do 32 divided by 4, you get 8. So 4 times 8 is 32, and 4 plus 8 gives me 12. So I found my answer. This is the correct answer. Well, they're the correct factors. The way that we write our answer then, again, we have our two sets of parentheses. What do we start with? Well, again, I'm trying to get x squared, so they both start with an x and an x. Then I had a positive 4, and I had a positive 8, so plus 8. So there's your final answer. And again, we can always go back to our multiplying binomials. We can multiply this whole thing out and show that we end up with what we started with. Okay? Again, this is what you need to have on your worksheet in order to get full credit. Moving right along. So now, our next example, you can see something that is slightly different here. Not too different, but slightly different. Is that we're going to multiply to get 24 and then add to get now a negative 10. Okay? So a lot of times people will just start and say, well, 2 times 12. Okay, 2 plus 12 does not give me 10, that gives me 14, so that one's out. But do you see here that if I keep multiplying two positive numbers, my answer will be a positive. So let's switch over to our negatives. So let's say negative 3 times negative 8. Negative 3 plus negative 8, well, we're getting close, that's negative 11, but still not negative 10, so that one doesn't work. Okay, another factor of 24 would be negative 4 times negative 6. Negative 4 plus negative 6. There's our answer. Oops. There's our answer. Negative 4 plus negative 6 is negative 10. Okay, and again, a lot of this stuff can be done on your calculator. Just make sure that you're showing me your table here, okay? So in our answer, we have x. They both start with an x. One of them needs to be a negative 4, so now we're going to do minus 4, and the other one's a negative 6, so minus 6. So there's your final answer. And again, you could have those switched. You could have x minus 6 first and x minus 4 second. That's okay. All right, one more with a negative in the middle, and then the last two I have done out for you that you can just follow along while I explain it, but this one I'll walk through with you again. So we're trying to find two numbers that multiply to give you 70 and add to give you negative 17. So we're just going to look at our negative factors again. So like negative 2 times negative 35. Well, that's way off. Negative 2 plus negative 35, that's going to give us a negative 37. So that's not even close. And maybe you recognize right away that it's negative 7 times negative 10. Here, let me cross this one out because we're not using that one. Negative 7 times negative 10 is a positive 70, and negative 7 plus negative 10 gives us the negative 17 that we want. So we come over to our answer, x minus 7 x minus 10. Again, you could have those switched. You could have the negative 10 first, then negative 7 second. That's fine. But there's your final answer. So some of your tables may look a little different than other people's. Some of you may get it on the second or third try. Some of you may take more tries. But again, you have to show me the table in order to get full credit. All right, so the last two, E and F, like I said, I have completed for you, so just follow along with me here. So let me show you my table first. 7 times 2. I'm sorry, yeah, 72. I'm looking for numbers that multiply to give me 72. So I started with 9 times 8. 9 plus 8 gave me 17. So I got close, but that one didn't work. So I thought about it a little bit more, and I said, okay, well, I know 6 times 12 is 72. 6 plus 12 is 18. So in my answer, x plus 6, x plus 12, final answer right here. Last one, we got a negative one here, so we're going to make sure that when we do our factors of 56 that we're just looking at negative numbers. Okay? So some of you may want to think about it in terms of positive numbers and say, well, 7 times 8 is 56, 7 plus 8 is 15, so I have the correct numbers, it's just the wrong sign. It's supposed to be a negative sign. So I can just change those to negatives, negative 7 times negative 8, negative 7 plus negative 8, to get your correct answer that way. That's entirely up to you. I just usually, if the middle number is negative, I just usually ignore my positive factors. So final answer, x minus 7, x minus 8. Here we go, and we are finished, okay? So again, like I said, if you're not sure about something, if you have questions, please ask. Don't let them go, because we're going to keep building on this. We're going to spend a lot of time on this concept here. So we need to make sure that you are understanding what's happening, and if you're not, you need to let us know. Okay, so send me an email, send me a private comment if you have any questions on this, and I will answer your questions.